Joining me in the studio is our International Affairs Editor, Angela Diffley. Angela, Trump, not for the first time, sounding tough, but what are his options now?
Yeah, they're not wonderful. He is likely to want, for now, to maintain the leverage he has and not lighten the sanctions on Iran. That is important leverage for the Americans. And still more, this counter blockade does appear to be strong leverage on the part of the Americans over Iran. It's very difficult to know from here. And it's very difficult to know what statistics are telling us what. But it does appear to be having some kind of economic impact on Iran. But we do also know that the Iranians are good at resisting, at enduring difficulty. So those are his points of leverage. We know he has said it a number of times. This time he hasn't put a deadline on it, but he said, if we don't get a deal, then the bombing will resume. I don't want to. It will be in greater intensity and a higher level. That is what he has said he will do. But the Iranians know, the whole world knows, Donald Trump would rather not resume bombing, would rather not scale up this war. He has the midterms coming. Whether or not he cares that much about his Republican colleagues, he will care about his own reputation. So that is an option the Iranians are fully aware he is reluctant to use. And the Iranians have also talked about, stopping the war on all fronts. That is somewhere where Trump would have to use leverage over the Israelis. He's done it before. He might well choose to. It is also being mooted that perhaps the Israelis might choose to mount their own operation and go into Karg Island because the Americans don't wish to do that. They don't want ground troops involved in this, and it would involve ground troops. Also, Netanyahu was talking on CBS television and talked about going in and taking out the 400 kilos of highly enriched uranium. We don't know, but the Iranians are all too well aware that Donald Trump is faced with some very difficult and unpleasant options.
Is Iran at risk of overplaying its hand?
That is always a risk in any negotiations. And of course, it's common in any negotiations. Both sides start off at a maximalist position. That is what the Iranians are doing. It is, we are being told, a fact that they are highly divided. And that is very plausible, given the structure of the Iranian hierarchy before and what has happened since. It is highly likely that there are very different factions, some much more willing to concede more and others maintaining a hardline position. That is extremely likely. The Iranians also risk pushing countries that have so far not been particularly supportive of the United States of Israel as the global impact of their trying to control the Strait of Hormuz and then the American counter-blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, as the global impact on that bites more and more, they could really push people into the other camp and into a somewhat more aggressive attitude to Iran. That is also a worry, something that they might end up having to suffer for. And there is also the very real likelihood that this American counter-blockade is having very significant economic impact on Iran. How much will the Iranians endure? It has had real impact on their oil production and therefore their economy. And that is a very, very big consideration.
Angela Diffley, thank you.